Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. I am so excited for today's video because today I've got some dupes for you. Dupes of high-end makeup that are some of my favorite things, and I found affordable drugstore versions that look identical and that perform just as well as the high-end makeup. One side is $400 worth of high-end makeup. The other side is $125 worth of drugstore makeup. Let's take a good look at it. Which side do you think is the high-end side and which side do you think is the drugstore side? This side is the drugstore dupe side, and this side is the high-end side. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the dupes. So the foundation that I use today is one of my Holy Grail foundations, the #1 de Chanel Revitalizing Foundation. This is also my most expensive foundation at $75 for an ounce. It's crazy. It's actually gone up since they released it. It was $70 then, and I was like, pardon me. And now it's $75. It's a beautiful foundation. It's very skin-like. It wears all day. It's got a nice lit from within glow to it, and it doesn't settle in my wrinkles. So for me, it is 100% a Holy Grail foundation. And this foundation is so hydrating because it has skincare ingredients in it. It has some botanical oils. It has some botanical essences in it. It does have a lot of fragrance in it, which is kind of the only drawback to it, but it's not drying. It doesn't contain any SD alcohol. So in looking to dupe this, I was looking for something that was kind of a serum, skincare hybrid foundation as well. And I think I have found it because, oh my gosh, if this isn't a perfect match, and it is performing so well, I love it. It is the Revlon Illuminance Foundation. The Revlon is called Skin Caring Foundation. It does have 3% squalane, and it also has hyaluronic acid. This also contains Camellia sinensis, which is green tea extract, which is also in the Chanel. So they have a lot of crossover where the ingredients are concerned. This Revlon foundation also doesn't contain any SD alcohol. And as an added bonus, this one is fragrance free. So, you know, if you could never stand the fragrance in the Chanel, this is actually a better buy for you because it doesn't contain the fragrance. And at $17.99 versus $75, oh my gosh, who can't afford this? And it's so beautiful on the skin. And I can't believe I got the perfect color match. When I was first putting this on, I thought, oh no, I should have bought the next darker color because it looked like it was going on a little bit light. But I feel like this does oxidize a little bit. And so it did kind of dry back to almost an exact color match to the Chanel. So the shade I'm wearing in the Revlon is 213, and the shade I'm wearing in the Chanel is B30. They both go on beautifully. You can apply them both so easily, finger, brush, sponge. The brush I'm using to apply both foundations is my BK Beauty 101 brush. Just thought I'd mention it because BK is in the middle of their Mother's Day sale this weekend. All the BK Beauty brushes are 20% off this weekend. The 101 is my Holy Grail foundation brush. BK also makes my brush set. This is a collab that I did with BK Beauty. This is a 7 brush set that contains a blush brush, my Kitten Paw concealer brush that is a game changer concealer brush, and 5 eyeshadow brushes, all designed for your mature skin to help you get your makeup on so much better. The sale will be going on from now until the 14th. Let me just show you a swatch on the foundations. This one here is the Revlon. This one here is the Chanel. So you can see the Chanel is a little bit thicker, but just rubbing them out, I feel like they give the same amount of coverage. I think the finish is so spot on. It's a beautiful kind of lit from within, glowy finish. It's 2:30. I finished putting my makeup on around noon, so I probably put the foundation on around 11:30. So it's been on for 3 hours already, and I cannot tell the difference. I ate lunch, I took my dogs for a walk, and both sides still look just applied. Now we're only 3 hours in. I am going to come back later and show you how everything held up at the end of the day. This is where I always get settling with foundation, is right here in these little smile lines. Look at that. No settling on the Chanel side. No settling on the Revlon side. And I also get settling on my forehead. No settling on either side there. So I am just So stoked about finding this. All right, next up is going to be my under eye concealer. My holy grail under eye concealer, as many of you know, is my Lancome Tinty Dole Ultra Wear Concealer. This retails for $29. It comes in 24 shades. I wear it in the shade 215 Neutral Buff. And the concealer that I'm going to dupe it with today is from CoverGirl. It is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer, $11.99. I'm wearing it in the shade M150 Buff Beige, and it comes in 12 shades. They both have an oversized doe foot applicator. Here are the swatches on the concealers. This one is the CoverGirl. This one is the Lancome. The CoverGirl is slightly thicker in consistency, so it's going to give you slightly better coverage. So if you have darker circles or darker discolorations, you might actually prefer the CoverGirl. I feel like they look very, very similar. Between these two, I definitely do prefer the Lancome. I feel like it's just slightly more lightweight, and it just looks a little bit better on my 60-year-old skin under my eyes. You know, it's kind of crepey under there. I definitely have my fair share of wrinkles when I smile. Only use the tiniest amount that you can get away with to get the coverage you need, and then it is a really good dupe for my Lancome. I do love this one. This one still is my holy grail and a fave, but this one is really, really good. It lasts all day, and it doesn't settle in my crow's feet or my under eye wrinkles, so that's a win. All right, moving on to my bronzer. On the high-end side, I used my Say Sun Melt bronzer. It's a nice creamy bronzer. You get such a big pan of this. This is so sheer. It never looks heavy. It never looks muddy. It never makes your face look dirty, but it retails for $32 for an ounce. The shade I wear it in is light bronze. So the dupe for that is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is $7. I have it in the shade Tan Lines. All right, so there's the swatches. The top one is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, and the bottom one is the Say Sun Melt. They're not shimmery or anything. They're a nice matte bronzer, but they still have like that kind of lit from within glow, so they look so natural and so beautiful on the skin. What I love about both of these is that they're not opaque. They're very, very sheer going on, and so if I even have to put on a little more, that's fine with me, because they are so easy to blend. They're never gonna look dirty or muddy. The Say retails for $32 for 1 ounce. The e.l.f. is $7 for a third of an ounce. So if you triple it to get up to an ounce, this is really like $21 for the same amount here. So still $11 less, even ounce for ounce. Okay, now one of the dupes for this video that I'm so excited about, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find one for this product, because it is such a magical product that I just fell head over heels for when I discovered it, and it went viral this year. It is the Dior Backstage Blush in Rosy Glow. This is the most beautiful blush, you guys. I've been using it nonstop since I got it. It looks really kind of intimidating, bubblegum pink in the package, and the reason I love it is because it doesn't look bubblegum pink on your skin. I think it's supposed to have a little bit of like a color changing technology to it, and it just goes on as the most beautiful peachy pink, which it certainly doesn't look like it would be peachy pink in here, but it does, and it's so sheer. But at $40 for this little thing of blush, ouch, it hurts. The dupe I found for that is a ColourPop blush, and this is the ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in the shade New to You. This retails for $12, and this is a beautiful blush. Now, just looking at it in the pan, I was like, I don't know if that's going to be really a dupe, because it doesn't look the same in the pan. But because this does go on looking more like a peachy pink and not this bubblegum pink, I thought, you know what? This could actually be a match for it. Let me give it a go. And sure enough, oh my gosh, if it isn't like the perfect color match. So when I'm applying these two blushes, I think they go on almost the same. I think the color looks the same on my skin as they do, even though they look so different in the pan, it comes out looking pretty much the same on my skin. The main difference I see between these two is that the ColourPop blush, while it's not completely matte, it doesn't have a lot of sheen to it, and the Dior blush definitely has a little bit of a sheen to it. So with the Dior blush, you don't really need to add a highlighter, but if you prefer a matte blush because blushes with a little shimmer or a sheen to them, you feel like they accentuate your pores or your wrinkles, then you may actually like this ColourPop blush a little bit better than the Dior. So moving on to the highlighter, the high-end highlighter is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This has been a fave of mine for a long, long time. Last year, e.l.f. came out with a dupe for it that immediately sold out and has been so hard to get your hands on, but I noticed recently it's been in stock in all the shades, and so I grabbed this one and tried it because I wanted to see how close a dupe it is. Everyone's been saying this is a dupe, and sure enough, it is. They both come in shades, but the e.l.f. shades are much, I'm going to say, darker, faster than the Hollywood Flawless Filter shades. Because in the Hollywood Flawless Filter, I wear this in shade 4, which is medium, but medium in this is still very light. When this was sold out in all the shades, the only shade I could get it in was shade 4. I've since returned it, but it was very, very dark. It was too dark for me to use as a highlighter. It was just too tan for me. I have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter in shade 2, which is fair to light. This one is the e.l.f. shade 2. This one is the Charlotte Tilbury, the shade 4. The e.l.f. is a little bit golder, and the Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit brownier, but when they reflect light, I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit whiter, it's a little bit icier, and the e.l.f. is just a little bit warmer and golder. So applying these, I felt like they went on almost identically. I feel like they look the same, I feel like they applied the same. I basically just put a little bit out on the back of my hand, and then I just pat it in along the tops of my cheekbones and a little bit on the fronts of my cheeks, and I think that they both give the most beautiful sheen. Although I gotta say, I almost like the e.l.f. a little bit better, because I feel like it's not quite so icy of a sheen as the Charlotte Tilbury. If you're the kind of person who likes a highlight but you don't like a real obvious, real blingy highlight, you might actually prefer the e.l.f. to the Charlotte Tilbury. And the price difference, the e.l.f. Halo Glow retails for $15. Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter retails for $49. So this is a third of the price. This is one thing that e.l.f. gives you the same amount, if not more in. This is 31.5 mil, this is 30 mil, so we're just about 1 ounce for both of these. All right, so that's all the face makeup. Let's move on to the eyes. I duped my favorite eyelid primer, which is the Hourglass Veil Eyelid Primer. I have loved this for years and years and years. And the dupe for that is the Milani eyeshadow primer. The Hourglass is $30, the Milani is $9.99. The tubes are just about the same size. You get just about the same kind of looking stuff out of them. They do the same job. They coat your eyelids equally as well. The Milani is a slightly wetter formulation than the Hourglass. So when I put on the Hourglass, if I don't have time, I can just go right in with my eyeshadow and it's fine. With the Milani, I do need to give it about 30 seconds to dry back before I can go in with my eyeshadow, but that's not a big deal for me, and I think it is like a really good dupe performance-wise. They both help my eyeshadows to look more pigmented, to last longer, and to last longer without creasing. Moving on to the eyeshadow, I really wanted to be able to dupe my Dior 5 Colors palette in soft cashmere, but I couldn't find anything that was even close to this. These are just such unusual colors that there isn't anything in the drugstore that can dupe this yet. We'll continue to look for something for that. But I have another Dior palette that I really love a lot. I've had it for a while, and it is the Dior Backstage Warm Neutrals palette. This is a great palette. It's so beautiful. So you get 8 pans of eyeshadow. This one is actually an eyelid primer, which I don't tend to use very much, and since I was doing the dupes, I went with the Milani instead, so I didn't use this. But the 8 pans are just gorgeous, and this retails for $52. And in order to dupe this, I actually had to buy 2 eyeshadow palettes, but it's okay because they each cost $3. So the dupe for this is $6 worth of e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows. But what a great match. This is the Dior side, this is the e.l.f. side. I'm like, I can't tell the difference. They look so similar. This is the I Love You a Latte palette. I've had this one for a while. I love it. And then I picked up this one called Cream and Sugar, which has the shimmers in it. This palette didn't contain a mid-tone matte that would have been a match for this, which is why I'm adding in the I Love You a Latte palette so that I could have a mid-tone matte. So to do today's eyeshadow look, I used first this peach color on the movable part of my lid, and the dupe for it was this peach color here from the Cream and Sugar palette. Then I used this mid-tone matte for in the crease. So I use this third shade from I Love You a Latte to dupe this shade from the Backstage palette. Then I went back to the Cream and Sugar palette for the darkest tone here, which is not a super close dupe for this, but once you get it on the eye, you can't really see the difference. They both come out kind of like a warm gray or a cool brown. This shimmer I duped with this, and this nice peachy shimmer I duped with this nice peachy shimmer in the palette. So I thought it was a really good dupe. I thought it came out really successfully. The one thing I have to say is I think that for the shimmers, I got better color payout on the shimmers on the dupe side than I did on the Dior Backstage side. So I feel like e.l.f. does such a great job with these palettes that they blend out beautifully. Like I don't really see any difference in the two. I don't see a difference in the shades. I don't really see a difference in how they blended. I think that they're both great palettes, but you know, $3 for this one, whew, what a perfect dupe. All right, next up is the eyeliner. On the high-end side, I use the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist liner in bronze. This retails for $24. I love this eyeliner. I've got it on my upper lid and my upper waterline. On the dupe side, I've got the NYX Slide On Glide On, definitely a turn-on waterproof eyeliner pencil in Golden Olive. This retails for $9, and I've got it on the same places, movable lid, and in my upper waterline. Here are the swatches on the eyeliners. This is the NYX over here, and this is the Makeup Forever. They look almost identical. Now, I love both of these eyeliners. I kind of use them interchangeably. They both wear great in the waterline. They're both waterproof. I actually prefer the performance on the NYX a little bit better, and I find these to be more comfortable to wear. So you can see I bought these at about the same time, but over time, I've worn the NYX so much more than the Makeup Forever. That just shows you which one I like a little better. This one has been sharpened a lot more, so this is really my go-to, and I love this color on the eye. It is so, so beautiful. All right, let's move on to the eyelashes. You guys, my current holy grail mascara is the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water Mascara. It's a tubing mascara, and as I always tell you guys, I've never met a tubing mascara I liked because of how they remove. They leave little black flecks all over your face when you take them off, and this was the one that didn't leave black flecks all over my face, and I love what it does for my lashes. I use one coat of this, and I've got long, separated, silky looking lashes that last all day. They don't flake, they don't smudge, they don't budge. So the Cali Ray retails for $24 for the mascara, and I love it. It's a holy grail. The dupe is Maybelline Illegal Lengths Mascara. It retails for $12, so half the price of this. Applying them, I thought they went on almost the same. It took a little bit more building with the Maybelline to get the same amount of lash volume as I get with the Cali Ray with like one coat. It took like 2 coats of this to get up to the same, but it's giving me almost the identical look of the lashes, and I love that because, you know, I like my lashes to look very sleek, very silky, and that's what I'm getting over on the dupe side. The eyebrow product that I use on the high-end side is the product that I've been using pretty much every day that I've had a really slow burn love affair with. Like when I first used it, I wasn't sure about it, and then I kind of liked it, and then I liked it more, and now I liked it a lot more, and the more I get to know it, the more I love it. So anyway, that is the Huda Beauty Balm Brows Full and Fluffy. So this is a fiber brow. So if you have sparse eyebrows, what this has is like little fibers in it, and it's also like a brow mascara. So it coats and colors your hair, it keeps them in place, but it adds these fibers so that it adds like fluff to your brows. And you know, the fluffy brows are in, and you know, I don't have huge brows, but I like them to look a little bit more beefed up than they are. So the Huda retails for $19. I was actually shocked at the price of this. I was like, what? That can't be right. How could this be only $19? I'm wearing it in neutral blonde. The dupe for it is from NYX. It is their Thick It Stick It Brows. It's also a fiber brow. It retails for $11, and I'm wearing it in the shade Taupe. The wands on these are very, very different. The NYX is the pink cap and the Huda is the gray cap. So you can see the Huda wand is very thin and the NYX is a lot thicker. You also have to be more careful with the NYX because it is a lot more color on the brush, so you have to really not jam it in there. So you have to be really more careful just to touch it to the hairs. So I always apply this by back combing my brows with it, and that really helps to work all those little fibers into your hairs. That makes your brows look fuller and fluffier. But I gotta say, as far as the eyebrows look, I can't tell a difference between them. Again, that seems to be the theme for the video. You get so much more control with how tiny the Huda brush is. And I can't say that I can see a real big difference between like the colors or how full and fluffy they are or how well it makes them stay in place. So this is a really good dupe for this. All right, last product for today is the Lippy. Can you believe that I have one product on the right side of my lips and one product on the left side of my lips? And let me tell you, I wore these both, one side, a couple days ago. The wear is identical too. So, oh my gosh, this is such a good dupe. So the high-end product is the Urban Decay Vice Lip Bond. It retails for $27. It comes in 12 shades, and this is the shade Textum. The dupe for that is the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink, and this retails for $12.99, so less than half the price. This is in the shade Peachy, and it comes in 25 shades. So you've got double the shades in this. The wands are almost exactly the same. Here are the swatches on them. This top one is the Maybelline in Peachy. The bottom one is the Urban Decay in Textum. The colors are almost exactly the same, but once you get them on your lips, they look identical. It looks like you have on a really creamy lipstick or a combination of a lipstick with a lip gloss over it, but it's one product. I'm not even wearing lip liner with these because these last on the lips unbelievably. Sorry, doggy's itching back there. Don't know if you can see her. It's not gonna be on your teeth. It's not gonna be up in your lip lines. They don't feel drying at all. I love them both. All right, so those are all the dupes that I used to do today's makeup. I'm so happy with how it came out, but the proof is always in how they last throughout the day. It's only a half hour from the 4-hour check-in, so I can't imagine this is gonna crash and burn in the next half hour. So let's go ahead and do a little natural light and an 8-hour check-in on it. Let's do a quick natural light check-in. I'm here in my bedroom in front of a window. This is the drugstore side. This is the high-end side. Really not seeing too much of a difference. Just the lippy starting to wear off a little bit. I'm 5 hours in with it, and I did have lunch. Really happy with these dupes. I think they all are holding up really, really well for 5 hours in. It's 8 p.m. I'm back for the 8-hour check-in on the makeup, both the dupes and the high-end side. And oh my gosh, I couldn't be any more pleased with this entire face of makeup. I think that these dupes are just perfection. And you know, to save like, what is it, $275 on the makeup is pretty darn good, and to get the same wear out of it, the same look out of it, I gotta give myself a pat on the back. I think I did a pretty darn good job on this one. So let's run them down and see how they are. So here's the Chanel versus the Revlon. I think they both held up really well for a full 8-hour day. Hardly any wear showing on either side of my face. The only thing that's making them look about 8 hours in is they're both a little bit shiny down my T-zone. I gotta say the Chanel's a little shinier than the Revlon, so I almost like the Revlon a little better, because it doesn't have the fragrance and it doesn't cost $75. So, oh my gosh, amazing dupe. Definitely give this one a try. The reason I love the Chanel foundation is because it lasts for 10 hours, no wear, no settling in wrinkles. The Revlon though, look at it, just keeping pace with the Chanel, step for step, hour for hour. It's not worn off, it's not drying to wear, and there has been no settling into wrinkles. Check it out. All day, forehead, no settling into wrinkles. So yeah, they're both super beautiful. All right, let's talk about the concealers. Look at that L'Oreal concealer. This is why this is my holy grail. It is so smooth, so beautiful, so in place, not creased at all after 8 hours. Amazing stuff. But look at the CoverGirl. I mean, not bad on its own. It's slightly more creasy here at the inner corner, little micro creases, but other than that, not worn off, not looking heavy, not looking cakey. Both of these gorgeous concealers. I think the blushes and the highlighters and the bronzers all look perfect. They don't really wear off during the day. They all look fantastic. I think the eyeshadows both look great. The eyeliners, they all look really good. They're all in place. The mascaras both look identical. I cannot tell a difference between them. I've got no chipping, no smudging, no fading from either of them, so that's awesome. And the eyebrows, I think both still look good, still in place, no smearing, no anything on there. The only thing that is worn off a little bit is the lippy, but I gotta say they wore equally. A little bit of each wore off on my lower lip, but about the same, but the upper lip didn't really wear off at all. I'm happy to say that the performance on all these products is just as good as the performance on the high end. Everything's really great. I'm really happy with all of it. So that is it for today's video. Shopping links for everything will be in the information box below the video. If you found the video helpful and informative, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and of course hit the notification bell while you're down there. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.